Music, a tradition as old as human history and more than likely older. Music is something that has been used as a way to express oneself and to make people feel emotions on a deeper level through the use of lyrics and instruments. I have always wondered what the mindset of a band was in this day and age, and have been curious as to why they make music. Enter King Cat. This psychedelic rock band from Hartville, Ohio is a motley crew of four individuals. Nate, their vocalist and keyboard player, Nick, who plays drums, Jared, their bassist, and Jesse, their guitarist. I was lucky enough to sit down with these four individuals and learn about why they started this band, some highs and lows of making music, and a surprising dive into community and its impact on not just music, but art as a whole. This is King Cat. After sitting down and making introductions with the band, one of the first questions I asked was one that I was personally most curious about. Why did they start a band?
We never intended on starting a band. Yeah. What happened was basically I had been doing music and Nick had been doing music separately, and we both
had very long careers in music before the band, and it's kind of where this guy comes into the picture.
Yeah. So I just recently graduated from film school, and I had a cinematography project, and I was talking to Nate about it, and I wanted to do something music related. You know, get some audio, do a multicam setup of like him playing guitar or something. And I thought, why not ask Nick if he wanted to do a jam with Nate? And I was like, yo, maybe we could get this thing going. And you know, it's just for a project. Doesn't have to turn into anything, but it ended up turning into where we are today.
Good time.
Yeah.
Me and Nate started playing a little bit.
Started jamming all the time.
We went out to a bar in North Canton and did a little live open jam that they were doing. Both of us went up and just played a little bit, and it went pretty well.
Yeah, at that open jam, Jared and Jesse were there.
So we were all just kind of hanging out, and I was just filming things and taking pictures and whatnot. And then Nate was like, well, I have an extra bass and an amp. If you want to jam with us, I can teach you like a key. And we threw it all together one night, and yeah, then we just started jamming all the time.
And then there was a night after that.
Yeah, that's what
where
I was saying.
The four of us were all at a party. And we were sitting around the picnic table at one point, and we knew Jesse played guitar, and I just threw out the idea, hey, why don't you come play with us one night and just see what happens. Then we just kind of got together, I think it was like a week after, and we call it the Holy Night now, because when we played, it was...
It just, everything kind of, it was like one of those moments where it all just, everything meshed. Like,
sense.
That was like the first time any of us had like jammed with someone else and felt it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Where it wasn't someone else's music, it was just like, this is something we actually just made. And we ended up adapting it actually into one of our longest songs called Under the Trees of Thunder, because after we recorded it, we went and we laid under those trees for the rest of the night. And
for a solid 3 hours.
You know, we
just kept listening back to what we just played.
It was still one of the best nights of all of our lives, I think.
Yeah.
The most influential nights.
It
really was a turning point in our careers.
We all just knew at the moment, just like,
we were listening back to the jams, and like we were having these heartfelt conversations and crying, and it was storming out, and everything was just perfect.
After making what would become Under the Trees of Thunder, the band would discover one of the hardships of making music. You can't always recreate these one-of-a-kind moments.
Something that I thought was really crazy is like we came back like a week after that, and we tried to do it again, and it just was like not as good.
Yeah.
It was really weird. Like we came back and we tried to do it, and it was like weird and uncomfortable.
How it's always been after that. Like we'll play something on recording, we'll listen to it after we just jammed it organically, and we'll listen back and go, okay, let's try to do that again, and we just never reach that point again. We get close.
I think that's probably the most special part, though. It's just like
the organic nature.
And that's just like history between all of us, I feel like.
And that's how relationships are.
Yeah.
You know, it's not always going to be sparks and really cool moments. You know, you're gonna see something, try to recreate it. It might not work. It might work. You know. Yeah. And it's really just about capturing it when it happens.
That is how a lot of our songs come to fruition.
Oh, that's pretty much
It's usually a jam, or you know, someone comes with some lyrics or some chord changes.
And we jam off of it.
And we go off of that, and the next thing you know, we just wrote a song in one night. it's really fun way of writing, I think.
Yeah.
It's very satisfactory.
As time went on, the four would begin to practice more and more, gradually settling down into Nick's garage, turning it into their practice space.
Before that point, I mean, this whole garage didn't look like this.
Nothing
at all.
Yeah.
This
Nothing.
used to be
None of this was
nothing
in
but a workshop to work on
And-
vehicles,
Yeah.
tools, and all kinds of other crap. There were snowmobiles parked in here, tractors. There was a bobcat in here at one point, and so it's slowly but surely morphed into a music space.
Yeah, and now that we own all this gear and we've been using it for so long, it's kind of crazy that the first concert we did, we brought the sound system.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
brought everything. So it was like this crazy moment where we're pulling up to this place. It's called Jenks. It's in Cuyahoga Falls.
It's a really cool place.
And it's a really, really cool little art gallery, winery. They just do all kinds
They've
of
got
stuff.
a bunch of vintage stuff, old books, like you can find
Vinyl, anything you
anything
want.
you want.
So, mind you, we came in here with all of this crazy gear that we had collected over
Just do
a
it for
year
free.
or so, maybe.
As an opener.
As an opener,
We
yeah.
took
and we're
pretty much
bringing
everything
our
behind us
system.
as an opener, which is stupid.
Yeah, we
It
didn't
was
really
crazy.
know at the time that wasn't really kosher.
Well,
Not
like,
at all.
But while it was kind of like, what the hell are we doing? At the same time, it got us that good push.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
It was
yeah.
out there because
Yeah.
the other bands we played with, they recognized that and they were like, "Hey, you guys are like,
Yeah.
cool."
This idea of bands recognizing one another for the work they do does not stop at just the bands. In the Hartville-Canton area, there is a big push for collaborative work between artists, with Nick saying the situation is that of, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. This is even shown in how I met this band, with my brother Benny having done promotional art for the band in the past. Nate went on to talk about how the longer they were in King Cat, the more familial the art and music scene in Ohio became.
So I, in 2018, I went to this place where they host music festivals. It's called Ledges, and I met your brother Benny. And then I went to another festival that summer in 2018, and I met this guy named Jan. And him and his friend group were very, like, I spent so much time over there with them, and we really made a connection that weekend. And like I said earlier, when we went to the place and we decided we were going to be named King Cat, the booker I was talking to goes, I want you guys to open up for this band called Camel Butter. And we looked up Camel Butter, and Jan was the guy who was the front man in that band. And, like, so right away we were playing with people we already knew. So it was like, as uncomfortable as that first outing might have been at the Jenks building, we still, we felt sort of comfortable because me and Jesse, at least, had prior experience with one of the guys in the band. So it was like, we weren't feeling like, oh, you know, they're these rockers we have to go and, you know, impress and play really well for. It was just like, oh no, this is like a friend that we know. And that's all it's ever been, is like, oh, we're playing with friends.
When talking about this aspect of community between artists and creators here in Ohio, Nate mentions on how the art community in Ohio is different from popular places like LA or Nashville, and how it affects collaboration between artists.
The difference between our scene and people in Nashville is that we have nothing to prove. We are in the middle of nowhere, and like, you know, you can make it big, I guess. You know, like plenty of groups have from Ohio, but like for the most part, it's like a fever dream for almost everyone. So we're all just like, we have nothing to lose, so we're just throwing it down.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the nihilistic way. It's not we have nothing to lose. I can't do anything. It's we have nothing to lose. Let's go hard. You know?
Yeah. And I think that is like that's most people that we play with.
Exactly.
And most, like, it's that drive of you're
Like
not
everyone-
doing it because you're in California and you want to make it big, but you're doing it because it's an outlet.
Something you want.
It's
Because
something
everyone
that
we play with, we all have our own weekly jobs where we go in, we put in 40 hours a week, and we're working.
And
But
then
then we do this afterwards when we have our time to, because it's something we're all passionate about.
Yeah.
It's something we have drive for.
This is something I've thought about, because I've always called it more of a project than a band, because of all the other mediums that we express our art through. You know, we're out here, we're making music videos, we're making artwork, we're bringing other people into this project beyond just the music.
Yeah.
It's become a lot more than just sounds, which is really cool to me. It's become visually visually appealing as well as mentally and physically, and it's very community based.
It is this quality of King Cat that interests me most, as before talking to them, I had this predisposition that a band's main goal would be to get famous. And while they did express they would like to play at bigger venues in the future, their main focus is creating pieces of music that express who they are while also working with those around them.